You are a boy. No one calls you by your name anymore. Not since the day you were taken. The scent of olive oil and sun-warmed stone still lingers in your memory. That last summer in Athens, when you sat with your father on the worn stone steps, outside the workshop. He told you how the grain ships came from Egypt, how Rome was made of men who had forgotten the gods. You believed him. You believed many things, then. But that summer was long ago. You measure time differently now. In footsteps in the hall, in doors that click shut behind you, in the sound of cloth being folded just beyond the screen. You were sold in the spring. At first, they said you were being sent to study an apprenticeship, maybe, or temple work. That's what your uncle told your mother when he handed over the purse. She was crying too hard to ask what kind. You remember her hands trembling as she packed your things, 2 tunics, a carved flute, and a bundle of dried figs. You never saw her again. The ship to Italy was slow. The hold smelled of salt and sickness. The man beside you had bruises on his arms and blood in his teeth. He didn't speak your language, but the look in his eyes told you what words could not survive. When you reached the market in Neapolis, the sky was too bright. The sun beat down on the white stones, and the crowds pressed close to look at you. You stood barefoot on a platform with a dozen other boys. You were instructed to smile, to turn when commanded, to speak Latin if you could, or at least not cry. You did not cry. That earned you interest. The man who purchased you wore rings on every finger and smelled of sweet wine. He didn't look at you like a person, but like an investment. You remember his voice, deep, smooth, always slightly amused. From Athens, good stock, fine bones, unspoiled. That was the first time someone described you like an animal. You traveled in silence, hidden under a curtain in the back of a carriage. When the villa gates opened, you saw the world that would become your prison. Polished marble, bronze statues, water trickling through shaded gardens. It was beautiful, too beautiful. It made the air feel colder. You were led inside, bathed, shaved, perfumed. Your clothes were taken. You were given a linen robe. The house slaves didn't speak to you, only gestured. You learned quickly, speak only when spoken to. Do not ask questions. Keep your eyes down. You slept that night on a bed softer than anything you had ever known. It smelled faintly of lavender. You cried into the pillow and told yourself it was only for one night. But that was a lie you would whisper again and again. Your days became routine. You were taught to walk with grace, to hold a tray without spilling, to play the lyre and recite short poems about love and loyalty. They fed you well, dressed you in silks, praised your posture and smile. You were told this was privilege, that boys in the fields had it worse, that you were lucky, lucky. That word followed you like a ghost. Lucky to serve, lucky to be chosen, lucky to be beautiful. But the lessons never stopped. You were corrected with a soft voice and a sharp cane. You were reminded, often, that obedience was the highest virtue, that a good boy was silent, pleasing, and invisible unless needed. You learned to be all three. Sometimes you would catch your reflection in polished bronze hair curled, lips stained with rose tint, wrists adorned with gold. You looked like a statue from the garden, not a child. And sometimes, when no one was watching, you would touch your face gently, wondering where the boy from Athens had gone. They said your name once, the first week, then never again. They called you the Greek, sometimes the small one. When guests visited, they would ask if you were new stock, if you were trained yet, if you were compliant. You were all of those things. Now, you learned not to flinch when touched, not to breathe too loudly, not to show anger or sorrow or fear. Those emotions were dangerous. They led to punishment or worse, removal. You saw others disappear. One boy, older than you, who used to whisper jokes at night, was gone one morning. No one explained. His bed was stripped, his name never spoken again. You never asked. You already knew the answer. There were moments of kindness, scattered like crumbs. A steward who once placed a warm hand on your shoulder and told you quietly to keep your head down during a guest's visit. A kitchen girl who smuggled you a sweet fig in the dark, her eyes not meeting yours. But kindness in that world was always fragile, always temporary, and so you learned to survive in silence at night. When the villa slept, you would lie awake and try to remember your father's voice, your mother's song, the feel of wind on the hill above your old home. You promised yourself you would not forget, but memory is slippery, and the villa is loud, and the training never stops. You begin to dream in Latin, you begin to think in steps where to stand, when to smile, how to turn. Your old name feels strange in your mouth, like a foreign word, but still, you hold it inside you, buried beneath the layers. They try to build, you are not gone yet, not completely. You are still here, somewhere, and as long as that part of you remains, no matter how small, no matter how quiet they have, not one, not yet. You wake before sunrise now? Not because you're told to, but because your body has learned it is safer that way. There is comfort in being dressed and standing at attention before the door opens. Comfort in avoiding the surprise of being caught unprepared. The air in the villa is cold before the hearths are lit. You shiver as you fold your sleeping sheet and kneel beside your bed. Order is a shield. Routine is armor. Anything outside of that is dangerous. When the door creaks open, it's the steward, always silent, always watching. He nods. You rise, follow, never speaking. Today, you're being sent to the East Wing. The master's favorite guest has arrived, Lucius Varro. You've seen him before. You remember the scent of his cloak jasmine and smoke and the way his eyes pass over you like someone choosing wine. You are prepared differently this time, oiled more carefully. A small chain placed around your neck, fastened at the back so you cannot remove it. Your robe is replaced with a thinner one, nearly translucent. They tell you it's because the guest likes elegance. You are not told what else he likes. You're not supposed to ask. At midday, you are brought to the reception hall. It is a large room with painted ceilings and golden bowls full of grapes and almonds. The walls are decorated with mosaics, heroes and gods, battles and weddings. You keep your eyes on the floor. Lucius sits lounging on a couch, speaking idly to the master. He is laughing. He is laughing. You stand near the doorway. You can feel his eyes on you. Is this the one from Athens? He asks. You are instructed to step forward. Slowly. Turn to the side. Lift your chin. Smile, but not too much. He comments on your height. the shape of your fingers, the way your hair curls at the nape of your neck. You are not a person. You are being catalogued. He requests music. You are handed the lyre. Your fingers already trembling before you touch the strings. You play the song you were taught last week soft, pleasant, no emotion. Lucius claps softly when you finish. You feel your stomach twist. Afterwards, you are dismissed with a nod. That is supposed to feel like praise, but it doesn't. Later that evening, you are summoned again. You know what this means. You're not told, but your body understands what words no longer say. This time there is no music, only silence. You are led to a different part of the villa. A quieter wing, where the lamps burn lower. You follow with measured steps. Your heartbeat is louder than your footsteps. You reach a small chamber. It is richly decorated curtains of silk, soft cushions, a single couch with gold-trimmed arms. There is wine on the table, and waiting beside it is Lucius. He smiles as you enter. He does not speak right away. Instead, he motions for you to stand near the window, where the moonlight falls through the lattice. You obey. You are not sure where to place your hands. You clasp them. You stare at the floor. He walks around you, like someone admiring a statue. When he finally speaks, it is to ask where you are from. You say Athens, quietly. He asks your age. He doesn't ask your name. You're glad. You don't want him to say it. The things that follow are not spoken of. You are taught that silence is the right response. That if you remain still, it will end sooner. That tears are a weakness. So you make no sound. You count your breaths instead. 1, 2, 3. Over and over, like waves against a shore. And when it is done, he tells you that you were well trained. You are thanked. You walk back to your quarters in the same robe, but you are not the same. Something has shifted inside you, like a floor tile loosened beneath the surface. It will not show for days, but it has cracked. In the darkness of your room, you sit on the edge of your bed and look at your hands. They do not tremble. This frightens you more than if they did. You lie down and close your eyes, but sleep will not come. Not tonight. The steward comes in the morning and says nothing. He looks at you longer than usual. Perhaps he knows. Perhaps he has seen it many times. You are given extra figs with your meal. A small kindness. It makes you feel worse. Time continues. The days blend together. The villa hums with order and beauty, and underneath it, the machinery turns. You learn how to answer difficult guests. You learn how to smile when you are afraid. You see other boys come and go, some younger, some older. Some cry at night in the thin space between beds. Some disappear. You stop asking where they go. There is a boy from Gaul who arrives 1 month after Lucius's visit. He is quiet and broad-shouldered, with red hair and a scar above his lip. At first, He glares at everyone, refuses to speak. You see yourself in him. The version of yourself that arrived long ago. You offer him a piece of bread one night. He does not take it. The next week, he is oiled, perfumed, and dressed in silver threads. When he returns, he does not meet your eyes. Eventually, he starts to smile too. You learn that transformation is not always visible. Sometimes it hides behind laughter, behind obedience, behind praise, and sometimes at the edge of your memory, Athens still flickers. You remember how the sea looked in late summer, how the rooftops shone at dusk. You remember your mother's voice, your father's hands. But the details blur more each day. The villa paints over them. Layer by layer. One day, you catch yourself humming a Roman tune. You stop. You press your palms to your face. And for the first time in months, you cry. Not because of pain, but because you are forgetting. You promised yourself you wouldn't. But even promises fade when there is no one left to remember them. You begin to count the seasons by the changes in the garden. When the roses bloom, you know it is spring. When the figs ripen and fall, it is summer. The withering of the olive trees signals the end of warmth. The seasons mark time better than any calendar in this place where days are indistinguishable and years are spoken of only by others. You are no longer the newest boy in the villa. Others have come thin, pale, trembling. You recognize the hollow look in their eyes, the cautious way they move, the hesitancy in their speech. You know that some of them will not survive it. You try not to care. But you always do. One morning, you are called to the training courtyard. A new tutor has arrived. He is a freedman older, with a calm voice and a face that has forgotten. He was once in your place, they whisper. Now he teaches boys how to behave for noble clients. You are made to recite poetry with him, to walk with grace, to sit properly. You are taught to pretend. The lessons are not cruel, but they are not kind either. They are empty. Rehearsals for a performance you never auditioned for, but you learn them. You become skilled. You are praised for how well you listen, how obedient you are, how graceful your movements have become. You are not a performer. You are a product, and good products must be polished. In the evenings, the older boys are brought to the terrace to serve wine and play music. You are often there, seated in the corner, plucking the lyre, your eyes never lifting. You become background, ornament, atmosphere.